put your anchor strips, and I usually put a couple of these on the forearm here. And so I'm just a little bit below halfway. And then I'm going to put one around the hand. And as I put it around the hand, I have to crimp the tape so that it doesn't cut into the thumb area. Okay, so I'm crimping it here. And just bring it around. There. And if I go through again, so you can see this, I will crimp it as it passes through the webbing so that it doesn't cut. Okay? Crimp it and then just lay that. So we have our anchor strips here. On both sides you can see. Anchor, anchor. And then we're going to attach our X strips. Now just because it's easier for demonstration, I'm going to place the strips on top. And if I'm placing them on top here, I'm going to put them into a little bit of extension because if I'm putting the X's here, what am I preventing? Flexion, okay? So, so what you're going to do is measure from anchor to anchor, and you're going to begin a X pattern here, which is going to go this side, and if you were a little less tall, I would have to bend your knee down every time you do this. Okay, hold it there, and that's an X pattern. And then I might want to do an asterisk, so that would be a strip right through the center here. Okay. And I'm just going from anchor to anchor. So you make your X, and then you put that vertical piece right through the center, and that's your asterisk. And then you can do a double set of X's. Okay, and I'm going to spread this out just a little bit farther this time with my X pattern, just because I want a little bit more coverage here. And I'm just spread this out here. There we go, anchor, anchor. And then our vertical piece here. So you can do two sets of X's, and I think that say that on your So two sets are, a little bit stronger. Okay, so then we've got our X pattern, and I'm going to cover the X's so that they don't come off. And crimp the tape as it comes through the hand here. And spread the tape. Okay, so basically that's what we have here, and that's our initial setup for preventing hyperflexion. So then it tells you figure eights. And a figure eight is one that comes around the hand and then around the wrist. And it doesn't really matter which way you start, but you just need to, and usually I'll come around the wrist one time, and then I'm going to head in the direction of the feet, come underneath the hand, crimp the tape as I come through, around the hand, and then back over to the wrist, and around to my position. So that's one figure eight. Okay? Yeah.
Why do you crimp the tape?
Why do you crimp it? Because it will cut